So we are getting closer every day to becoming continuous cruisers forever. But first things first, we've still got a few bits and bobs. It's the whole blimmin' thing still to do, isn't it? I'm only joking, of course. We are well over halfway into this unintentional refit of our first narrowboat home.
So I'm really excited. I've been looking now for a while to try and find some flooring for the lounge, because we want to get rid of the horrible old carpet and actually put some wood flooring down. But as you probably all know, the cost of materials have just gone absolutely through the roof, and it was just everywhere I was looking, it was just, the options were just so expensive. And so I've been looking around to try and find some like reclaimed flooring that we could maybe use. And lo and behold, after several weeks, I just came across an advert for a guy who's getting rid of a load of reclaimed timber. So I'm just going to go and have a look at it now. So fingers crossed. So I've just got back and the flooring is a winner. And I was in there for 2 hours. The guy was so nice and telling me like all these amazing stories. So it was like a win-win situation overall. So fingers crossed he's going to come and deliver them. Happy flooring.
So there you have it. The main task of today's episode is going to be to hopefully tackle the living room floors. Place bets now on how much of it you reckon we're going to get done. In a moment, we'll give you an update on the bow thruster area. Was it condensation? Was it a leak? You're not going to find out in this episode, that's all I'm saying, but we're going to give you an update. I mean, we don't even know. But I do remember telling you that the bow thruster area was the hardest job we've ever tackled, and all I'm going to say is it wasn't after today's episode.
Oh.
Exciting stuff going on here.
What's going on?
What do you reckon's turned up, guys?
Our very own Jersey cow.
What's that in the back there?
That looks like an excellent box to play in.
What we got, guys? Tanky wanky.
Tanky?
Tank.
Rethink that one.
Check that bad boy out. 55 litre vessel, twin coil. Can you tell I'm excited?
It's been a long time coming, but she has arrived. This right here indicates hot showers, baby.
One big step for Crobot. Once this is installed with the hot water, we're nearly ready to get going. So very excited, guys. We'll get that cracked open in a bit. On the shoulder. Welcome, finally, our beloved calorifier. Yeah, we went for a 55er in the end. Some people said get a 30, others said get a 75. We've gone for a 55. I don't know what's wrong or right. What do you guys reckon? Long time coming. 2 years too late, isn't it? 2 years ago we were meant to get one of these. Maverick fitted a household tank in originally in one of our episodes, and it blew up. It's about 100 episodes ago. This is a proper marine tank, so it's a calorifier. It's slightly different. The materials used stop it from exploding, I suppose. Anyway, let's have a look at this. Yeah, a very special and exciting moment for us, because we've been waiting to order this little bad boy for years. And it's meant to be vertical or horizontal, even though I've got a weird feeling it hasn't come with everything that makes it vertical, but we'll see now.
It's like a Smurf pod.
It's got the legs for it to be horizontal. It does not have the legs for it to be vertical. What's your calorifier like? Obviously there to sit there and stop it rolling about, but on the bottom there aren't any clips. But we seem to think maybe you just put it into the wall with these side clips here. Is the bottom fine like that to sit on the floor? It's probably slightly different from one I saw. All the connections seem to be at the top. What do you reckon, guys? Does that look like the right sort of calorifier that we've bought? 55, twin coil. These four quite often run down here, according to the video that I watched. Does this look right to you? Let us know in the comments. 30-day returns, isn't it, if it's the wrong one? So a quick YouTube search led us to making a narrowboat with Nanny and Grandad. They had a great, easy explained video of how to fit a calorifier. So using that as a guideline, along with the help of Becca's dad, we should hopefully get this little bugger installed pretty soon. If only it was that easy. You'll find out more of that later in the episode. What is with the drama? Everything just always goes wrong with us. This one wasn't our fault, alright? So one problem to another, let's have a little update on the bow thruster area. Sorry guys, long story short for those that don't know, we had a build-up of water down here, we thought it was condensation, now we're not sure. In fact, I spent the whole entire last episode treating this area for condensation using rubber gym mats, only to realise that they were getting wet from something wet inside. It's come out a bit wet, which is a little bit worrying. So let's check out if it's wet today. I am sick of this as much as you guys, remember, alright? I don't want to keep going down here. Blimmin' horrible. So this is the area where it seemed to be wet. It's completely dry. It has been raining, and when rain gets on the front here, on the bow, it has a tendency of slipping in somewhere on one of the sort of little seams down here. Finds its way down here. If the crash cover doors here are left open, it's hammering down with rain, and I didn't want to do this whole, you know, we've got water back in the bow thruster thing, but we had a little bit of water back in there, so, you know, I wanted to let you guys know, but it's not there anymore. We're going to keep an eye on it the next weeks. I'll probably leave this whole load of camping gym mats on the side here for now, because the last thing you want to do is start putting that all up inside there and, you know, it fills up with water. I mean, that's why we didn't do the spray foam, in case it fills up with water. Could you imagine the mess? We want to make sure there is not water coming in from the canal, and we had 3 months of no water in there, so it's got to be condensation. How many times have I said that? But, you know, got to think positive. Till the next time, little horrible evil bow thruster area. So a new day, a new mission for Crobot. Can you guess what's going to turn up today? Here he comes. And here I come with all our new wood, organised by Bex, of course, for our living room floor. Yeah, we've got carpets down there at the moment, horrible old carpets, and we're going to treat these all up and put them down in there and have a sort of rusticy floor in the living room. And then we're probably going to whack a couple of rugs over it too. It's going to look great. I bet Bex is going to make it look great. So Bex, would you like to tell the lovely viewers what the hell is going on with all this blimmin' wood? I mean, haven't we got enough wood on the Whistling Wombat?
Just for the record, I have already told the viewers about this. It's just because you weren't here and haven't been here for ages. So yeah, it's all documented, baby. They know. Maybe just pass me one.
We're going to do these one at a time. So you're in for a long old episode, guys.
Exciting stuff.
There's one. Got it. Got your gloves. Good girl. We'll grab the second one. Number 2. Number 3. Got 70. Make sure you subscribe, everyone. Suddenly got very messy in here again. So we've shoved everything up there for the time being, and now we've got to try and shove these down there somehow.
That's the technical way of saying it.
So what's going on, Bex? Why are we shoving everything over there?
Okay, so as you know, we have our lovely flooring ready for the lounge, so we're going to get cracking with that now. At the moment, we've got these 2-metre length strips of timber, but we obviously want to create like a sort of alternate pattern like we did with the kitchen flooring, because apparently, as well as making it look nice and pretty, it also makes it a lot more stable. So we need to have sort of disjointed like panels basically. So I figured the best way to do that is if we're going to start laying some pieces down and look at how we're going to kind of chop them and alternate them and work on our pattern, then we can take them outside using the chop saw, cut them to size, and then what we're going to do is we're going to treat the undersides, because obviously boats are damp areas and they're currently untreated, so it's probably wise to treat the undersides with something, as well as obviously when we're done we'll treat the top sides.
And then we're just going to put a giant rug over the top of it and hide the whole entire thing. Step 1, extraction of said skirting. I've only just learnt how to undo screws. It's a fascinating subject. And we've had to shut all the windows on the narrowboat because wasps keep trying to come in. I think because there's so much wood on the narrowboat at the moment, they're trying to find a little nest to house their young. Right, let's get them all out again. And what we are preparing for here, ladies and gentlemen, is an expert lesson in woodwork from the expert that is Rebecca Crobot. Oh, she's already going, she's going. When wood's involved, guys, don't let her near your wood. She's off, didn't we? So we've got the chop saw here. Bex has taken key position, a very dangerous device. I shouldn't be allowed anywhere near it. I did say to Bex, should I not like be doing some of this stuff so that, you know, at least in the video it looks like I'm sort of doing my share, but don't trust me.
They are dangerous if you're not familiar with one. Our friend's friend lost his finger.
But you get 10, so you know, it only becomes a problem when all 10 are gone, don't it? You can lose the odd one. I can't do washing up then either, can I, if the fingers go? Jesus. So I'm finally being trusted on the Sorry Wari. What's it called?
Chop saw.
Chop saw. Come on. Health and safety always. You know me. Very health and safety conscious. That's why I don't do anything. That is a breach of health and safety in itself.
So just practice getting the... No. You push the...
Ready? It's like that stupid school child, sort of they allow him to have a little go, you know, to let him sort of feel part of it. That's exactly what this feels like. In the words of Pat, our narrowboat surveyor, beautiful. Back in it goes. So we've decided to move all the junk along the left hand side of said vessel so that we can concentrate on putting the flooring down on the left side first. So these are all cut into the right sizes, and as you come to the left side of said vessel, we're going to concentrate on getting these bits down. We've obviously got the fireplace there, so that's going to be a little bit trickier for Bex. We'll be taking the carpet up as well, of course. Next up, she wants to start dismantling the stove now.
Obviously we're going to run into problems with the flooring if we don't address the fact that this is here, basically, because if we just butt it up to it and then want to do something with this later, then we're kind of screwed, because it'll be hard to get that off. But the flooring right away up to here, should we want to cut it shorter later, it's fine because we've got the length, but if you cut it too short in the first instance, then you've buggered, sort of thing.
Go on then. So completely deconstruct the stove. The old wiggle Rooney.
Tried and tested method works beautifully on most occasions.
Here it comes. In the time it took Bex to demolish our lovely little stove area, it's not nice, it's disgusting, I had come up with a pretty odd idea. My argument was, like, just leave the carpet down. It adds a sort of added insulation, doesn't it? You just hammer the planks in over the top of the carpet. I know it sounds bodgy, but the carpet's already up. We can rip it up, or we could use it as extra installation. What do you reckon, Crobot 101? Bex, not quite sure. She wants to push the Crobot to that extreme quite yet.
My biggest concern is how the wood will react, because I can just imagine this awful scenario where we lay all the flooring down and then the carpet creates some weird dynamic that makes the wood sort of warp and move and flex more, and we'd have to rip up the entire floor. So it's a gamble. Like, I don't really know if it's the right thing to do or not.
It proper feels bodgy. So now Becca has sort of placed all the wooden bits, like the majority of the wooden parts down. We've got to try and get the carpet up underneath it, because we've just chatted to a few people at the marina that said you can't really put the wood on top of the carpet because it will probably start moulding and disintegrating, and then it's all happening underneath your floorboards. I mean, I did think it was a bit of a silly idea, really. What? I did say I thought it's a bit of a crowbar, I wasn't sure. It's not good practice, is it? So what we're going to do now, we're going to stack our little wooden piles up to the left, and then hopefully we can lift the carpet up, and then when we come to coat the bottom parts of our wood, we'll slowly place them back onto the area which isn't carpeted anymore. There we go, all nice and empty for you guys. I mean, is this a bit boring? Just vlogging us like just lifting the carpet up. What is going on here? Get this blimmin' thing out of the blimmin' way so we can get rid of the blimmin' skirting, which is also in the blimmin' way. What a blimmin' day, eh?
Whoa! Left-handed. Told you about the ambidextrous thing.
I do feel an apology is needed though, guys. 1 week we've been telling you that we're going to sort the batteries out, which we haven't sorted out. The next week we tell you we're going to sort the calorifier out, which just never happens. We've finally got one. Now we're laying the floors in the living room. I mean, there's just no structure, is there? Okay, so it's a bit dusty down here.
Shall I beckon him?
Yeah, go and get him.
I'll use language that he understands.
My turn.
We need the power of suction!
Grab his manhood. Good girl, her favourite part. The most useful part of any man, some would say. Right, get him in. Look at all this room. Oh no, what's happened? He's alright, isn't he? Oh no, that's just fine. It's just a little bit of diarrhea. You know the drill. Catch.
Jesus!
Oh, sorry.
Yo, crap!
Do you want to lug us the other bits? Bex, would you like to do the privilege? Apply some hard wax oil to the bottoms of them, because obviously it gets damp down there sometimes when it's near the bilges. Is that correct, Rebecca?
Yeah, well, boats are naturally damp places, and you get lots of heat exchanges going on in them, so it's worthwhile protecting the undersides of your flooring, because that's the part that the cavity that's, you know, you get the damp in, and it will reduce the amount of swelling and stuff.
So far so good on this little mission of laying down the floors in the living room. The problem was that the little mission of laying down the wooden floors in the living room turned into a huge blimmin' mission of laying down the floors in the living room. So stay tuned, guys, because this gets ugly.
So now that the wax oil has set on the back of our flooring planks, we are going to mark out the floor for our first piece to be secured down. Now this sounds way easier than it is actually. So we marked out this is the absolute middle point of the room, meaning that if we were to put our plank central to that, it would be a bit disjointed with the ones coming out from the kitchen. We didn't think that looked very good, so actually what we're going to do is centralise them so it just looks like they continue on like this.
So this is the kitchen floor, obviously, and this is the living room floor. We just think it would look nicer if it was lined up properly.
So for anyone who's worked on a narrowboat, you'll know that everything is wonky and it's very difficult to get a straight line on anything. So what we're actually going to do is utilise the subfloor edging as a means of measuring out our first straight line for our first plank.
It's asking for trouble, isn't it?
The first one dictates how absolutely everything goes from that point. Try and line this up with our tape. Put a couple of nails in just to hold it in place, just to the side of it, and then put all of our other boards, lay them out snug and have a look before doing anything.
She knows exactly what she's doing, don't you, Bex?
I've got literally no idea what I'm doing. I'm making this up as I go along.
But it's going to be a little bit wonky bonky, isn't it? Because it's a narrowboat, so we just don't want it too wonky bonky.
So, as predicted, we have ditched that plan, and it's just impossibly difficult to get an exact straight line all the way down the middle. It's going really well and then it started to veer. So I think we're going to have to use the side wall as our guide, which in itself might not be exactly straight either, but what is straight on a boat, do you know what I mean? So we've bunked all the boards across, and in order to keep the lines matching our kitchen flooring lines, we've used a piece of wooden beading that just bunches everything slightly across this way because it was a bit too far over, and that keeps everything nice and parallel. Not parallel, straight.
Ish. It's not working. We're out again.
It's hard to know what to say really. It's just incredibly difficult to find your first line. The wooden planks on the top suddenly veer off from the line of the subfloor. Now that might be because the subfloor plywood isn't cut straight. It appears to be cut straight, but I don't know.
And when you look at the floor, without the panels on it, the subfloor looks pretty straight, sort of lined up. So, a bit of a failure guys, but we are determined to get this floor down today. A new day, a new strategy. What's the new strategy, Bex?
So last night I sat down and I made a plan. I tried to work out what the best way is to tackle this. And I've reverted back to my original idea, which was creating a central line, because I think as you move up the lounge, the sidewalls taper in. So you can't really use that as your starting point, because you'll just run into problems when you get further down and all the boards suddenly start moving towards the centre and it veers off. So I think we need to find the centre line and work out to the sides, which is is a lot more challenging. However, I think I've come up with a plan, and that is to measure the width of each end of the room, take the centre point, whack a nail in, run a piece of string to give us our straight line, and that will give us our centre point. Now, just to make it slightly more complicated, is we're having to line our boards up with the kitchen boards like we mentioned yesterday. So then what we're going to have to do is measure the difference, and then when we start placing our boards down the centre line in the lounge, just move them over however much that difference is so that they run in a line with the kitchen ones. If anyone is still listening, still alive, I applaud you.
So Bex made me get some string this morning. Let's watch the madness unfold. Let's watch her madness unfold.
We may well be coming to you again shortly with a whole other idea if this one doesn't come to fruition, but fingers crossed it will work.
Is it painful to watch? Is it? If you know what you're doing, this must be painful, because it's been a roller coaster, hasn't it? It's been up and down, back and forth, and you're learning with every step, but it feels like you're not getting anywhere. But let's go! You're back on the old lovely carpet with the scissors. I love that carpet. There is our passageway.
Marked out the centre line. So what we've established from running the string along is that in fact our subfloor boards aren't exactly deadly straight at the right angle. They veer a tiny bit, which is why we were seeing the problem that we were seeing when our floorboards suddenly up this end had a larger gap away from the edge of the subfloor than it did at that end. That's why. So it just goes to show like the minutest difference just grows further down the line sort of thing, and you end up with a massive gap at the opposite end, when at the top it seems alright.
So now we know the floor panels are going to sit straight, we need to move it over slightly so that they sit in accordance with the kitchen floor tiles. So it's about 1 centimetre or 2 to the left, but it's running straight. That's the main thing. This is our new centre line.
This is our equator.
So we are determined to get some panels down in this episode for you. We can't just leave it like that. I mean, after all that, we need something. Crobot are being good recently. We've actually got proper duck food. We ain't got any bread, so let's get the babies. These greedy pigs come and see us every day. But we are missing one vital person, aren't we? One vital human being. Sopranella, our pet duck. Yeah, she's been away for quite a while now. We're starting to worry. So after hours and days of trying to work out how we're going to lay these floors down, yeah, that's a whole different section that we do not want to bore you with. We've spent days trying to work out how we're going to do it. We've come to the conclusion that we're going to use the grab adhesive first.
Just making sure the end's nice and straight before we start nailing anything.
And then, yeah, we're going to nail the little bugger in too. Research told us that hopefully the grab adhesive will keep creaking down to a bare minimum. Yeah, we do not want creaking on here, do we? And I think someone was pretty impressed because look who turned up. So not a complete failure of an episode, but do you remember at the beginning of the episode when I said about the calorifier and that there may have been a small problem with our purchase? Well, check this out. So here she is, our lovely 55 litre twin coil calorifier. Hot water is coming, Bubba. But hold your horses, Chrissy Crobot. It all looks well and good from this angle, but when you get central, look to the right. It's bent, innit? Yeah, this bit here was bowing right down, which probably indicates that the copper piping down below is also bent. I mean, what a blimmin' nightmare. I mean, that one looks perfect, you see? You can really tell here. There it is, bent right down. And you can see where this is dented into the actual blue Smurf-like cylinder. I mean, let's be serious for once, eh? But that would sort of indicate that it's probably been bent right down and sat in that position for a long period of time, or just had a huge whack on the top. And by the looks of things, Sopran Ella wasn't very impressed either. I've been in touch with the distributor, ASAP Suppliers, is it? Really, really good customer service. They have offered us a 25% discount on this if it works, or they'll just replace it free of charge. So I suppose we've just got to work out what we want to do. Okay, full steam ahead now with the living room floor, and then we can finally kit it out and make it home. Cheers guys, catch you in the next one.